Yo, what is up, everyone? Anime Mafia here, back at it again with another video, and I'm here with another episode of A Certain Misfortunate Soul, Part 5. We are finally here, the final part of the Index arc. Without further ado, let's get into this. Touma, a voice was heard. Touma, the same voice was heard. Kami-on! Touma grumbled a bit. As Touma opened his eyes, he saw his blonde, spiky-haired friend. Motoharu? He mumbled a bit. Hey, Kami. Earth to Kami. Hey, Kami, Motoharu said. Hey, relax. Take it one step at a time. Where are we? Motoharu. We're at Kamoi-sensei's. You're lucky she didn't cut you so deep, or else you might have bleeded out and died. I managed to put ointment on your wound, but it might leave a scar. And what of Index? Touma said. She's in the kitchen. Motoharu pointed at the white-haired man. Don't strain yourself too much, Kami. You might be a bit... It's fine, okay? Touma had said, as he touched his chest. I lost, huh? Touma said to himself. I lost to her. I mean, of course. I couldn't even set out to protect Index. I couldn't even set out to do what I said I was going to do. Touma was too dissatisfied with the loss to even care that he survived. I wasn't strong enough to win. Why? What's wrong with me? Touma said as if he was on the verge of tears. What's wrong with me wanting to protect her? Why am I so weak? I trained with the best of the best. Struggled and suffered. And yet, as Index brought him the rice porridge, Touma thanked Index, but with a faint smile. He didn't even want to cry. He didn't want Index to see him like this as he covered his face. Touma then said, as he began to cry, why am I so weak? I trained so hard, and yet... Motoharu looked at Touma as he was crying. Touma. Motoharu called his friend by his name. Come on. You can cry, as he comforted his friend and patted his head. As he let his friend silently cry while eating the porridge. Index had given Touma the same lecture as in canon. Wait. The time limit. Our the pest Misfortunate Soul thought to himself. Great. And now the magicians were approaching as Touma saw the other souls. He wasn't going to go out like this. If I'm not going out like this to magicians, hell no. They're the last people I'm going to go out to. Hell no. If I'm going to go out, I'm going out like how Black Star would. I'm going out how Black Star would. I'm dying fighting with a smile on my face, defending and doing what I have to do in the end. As Touma then told Motoharu to transform, the magicians arrived. Touma immediately got up in sidekick style. Kamui was a little shocked that Touma just casually drop-kicked a visitor. Motoharu has been transformed into a Japanese knife already. Kanzaki held an odachi at the back of Toma's head, unsheathed. I didn't think we'd meet again so soon. Touma raised his hands in the air, surrendering, reluctantly, as much as he didn't want to, as he winced in pain slightly. I'm surprised at those injuries you can even move that well. You'll learn a few things when you get trained by a warrior god. Meanwhile, Motoharu was internally shitting bricks, as because he is at crossroads because on one hand, Kanzaki has Touma at gunpoint, or sword point, whichever you want to call it. Touma could die and Alistair and the Didymome will have every reason to start World War III. As Touma realized why the magicians let Index return to him, the interaction between the magicians, Index, and Touma went mostly the same as in canon. After the confrontation, Touma had asked his closest friend, Motoharu, "What could I do?" He explained to Motoharu at the time limit. While Motoharu didn't know what he could do. Not even, what could he do in the situation? As night came, Touma heard the phone ring. "It's me," the familiar voice said. It was Kanzaki, right? Kanzaki and Toma's conversation would go mostly the same as in canon. As Touma slammed the phone, he was angry. He really feels useless, and he doesn't want to feel that way ever again. What the hell? What the hell can I do? As the magicians arrived, Style and Kanzaki were preparing the ritual. Style brought up his cross. As the conversation went as in canon, and Style had asked Kanzaki for help to destroy Index's memories. Touma had tried to say wait, but Style stopped him. What, to let you scientists try something? Try something yet? Brought up his cross in front of Touma, and brought him to look at Index's face. Touma was asked if he was a human or a monster. Who forsaken his humanity. Touma from the last comment felt something boil in him. Monster, freak, god of pestilence. He hasn't felt this much despair in years. He has never felt this useless. As Touma was left in the room for 10 minutes, he was afraid. He didn't know what to do. What could he do? Touma dazed for a bit, but then snapped back to reality. He then said sorry to Index. As Index asked about the magic circle, Touma explained that it was recovery magic to heal Index's headaches. It's already over, Touma said. Touma said the same things as in canon. Touma then declared to Index that he swears to Index that he'll get the Didymome to beat the shit out of whoever did this to you. Index saying she'd wait for Touma. Touma thought to himself, but then came to the realization 85%. 85%. Kamijou looked back at Index's feverish face. Touma just had a brain blast. My god, I figured it out. 85 and 15%. Where had Kanzaki gotten those figures from? He was certain the human brain didn't work like that. As Touma called for clarification, he remembered the conversation that he had with Kanzaki, and then remembered that he in the church had lied to Kanzaki and Style. He had made them choke down their tears, when in reality, it was the caller. As Touma then looked at Index, and remembered what Style had said. Oh, mutant who thinks he's a hero? Hero, huh? As Touma touched his chest where the scar had left him, he made a toothy grin that showed his canines to the fullest. I don't think I'm the hero. I will be the hero, Touma said as he wrapped the bandages on his right hand. I finally found my answer. As Touma looked at Index and his right hand, obviously, if the collar had been external, he would have negated it by now. So Touma then touched her head. Nothing happened. Touma then quickly came to the conclusion that he should touch Index inside her throat. Touma then put his right hand inside Index's mouth. The sound of glass shattering was heard. But then Touma felt a slight shock in his right hand. As he quickly pulls out, a cut was opened. Index's eyes opened with a magic circle. As Touma then scanned Index's soul once again. Index's soul looked slightly different in John's pen mode. You could almost see that her soul looked different. It looked as if It just looks slightly different now. Unlike NX's pure soul switched to a more powerful and ferocious one, enhanced with magic. If Index wasn't an Esper, I wondered why you couldn't use magic. So they had a defense mechanism in place in case your collar was removed, eh? Using the 103,000 grimoires to determine a magic spell used to damage the barrier failed. The specified magic cannot be determined. Putting together an anti-intruder local weapon to expose the composition of the spell. Index tilted her head like a corpse puppet. The magic expected to be the most effective on the specific intruder has been formulated. Proceeding to activate spatial magic. St. George's Sanctuary to destroy the intruder. Index's two magic circles centered on her eyes, glowed before exploding. More specifically, it seemed like a high explosion of high voltage electricity occurred in a point in space between Index instead of a bluish-white lightning. The lightning was pitch black. Even though we knew that whatever was within him, he could not move. He trembled. He trembled. Some more. And he truly did tremble. After all, he just had to defeat whatever that was. He and he alone had the hand that could save Index. And that is why he laughed. Ironically. And that was why he trembled with delight. My right hand has brought me nothing but misfortune as far as I can remember. As he looked at his right hand with a jagged X-shaped scar. It might not be able to beat a delinquent, boost my grades up, or make me popular with the girls, but I know for certain it would help save the girl suffering in front of me, Touma declared, as he laughed once again. You might ask if I'm afraid. As if. I've faced situations like these before and looked at him and smiled. I looked back at the face of death and smiled at it. Not even death could kill me. Touma once again in his best impeccable Black Star impression. I'm the leading actor for this one. Touma then sped up with the Speed Star, closing the distance. Yahoo! Touma said with gusto, as he was so close to touching Index's face. Touma clenched his right hand, as he wanted to negate the horribly boring ending and rewrite it to an ending that everyone is satisfied with. Touma negated the pillar of light that got in his way, but it wasn't negated. Touma held his right wrist with his left hand. His right wasn't negating quick enough. Suddenly, Kamijou heard some noise from the other side of the apartment. The door swung open, and two magicians charged in. Damn it! What are you doing? Still struggling in vain? Style immediately stopped what he was about to say, to look at Index. Sean's pen? But we were told she couldn't use magic. Hey, magicians! Looks like I'm stealing all your scenes like I said I would. But how can this be? We were told she couldn't use Oi! Do you know what this pillar of light is? I need its weaknesses and strengths. Tell me how to defeat it. This can't be. You guys piss me off. It's obvious that the church lied to you. The conversation went mostly the same as in canon. As Style declared that he pledged to destroy her memories, the situations have changed. But I gotta ask you guys one thing. Magicians. Do you want to save Index? Or not? As Style declared his magic name, Fortis931, you guys have been waiting for an opportunity like this for a while. You wanted to be... Don't give up just because the prologue was bad. You wanted to be the magicians in the stories, right? Touma went on with the same determined speech as in canon. As Touma's pinky was bent a little. Salveri, 000. Kanzaki screamed out. Kanzaki struck the pillar of light before him. Touma's wound on his hand started to bleed away. Kanzaki's attack wasn't even aimed at Index as it sliced the ceiling of the apartment. It might have even sliced the satellite. The destroyed portions became feathers of light, as Kamijou had no idea what their effects were. As Kanzaki screamed out what the feathers were, Touma took out a cigarette with his left hand and lit it, as he was grinning. He quickly took a whiff of smoke. The pillar of light came crashing down at him once again. "Inokentes!" Styles screamed out. "Thanks," Touma said, as the giant flames protected him. "Go, Esper. Don't even waste a single second. The ritual is nearing its completion." Kamijou ran. Running, he then said, "Speed Star!" 2 more meters. One more. He heard Index speak above him, but he then looked at the feathers. He couldn't. It would be time. It would be time consuming. It would be time consuming if he used his right hand to catch them all. As he then had to choose between Index and himself, he chose Index. He wasn't swinging out his right hand for his pride or his sake anymore. I'll pick Index 1,000 times before myself. He was doing it for Index. For the girl that he could relate to. God, this is going according to your systems. Let me break that messed up illusion of yours. The sound of glass shattering was heard. As Touma had saved the girl, Index had fallen down. The feather had hit Toma's head. As if Touma had the strength sapped out of him, the cigarette in his mouth fell, and he fell down. He smiled. Meanwhile, in another place, a loud voice was heard chuckling. This was Touma's soul, or his psyche. The voice was talked to his lookalike, just lighter. "So this is it, huh?" The original Touma declared. "Those memories I shared with everyone. They were troublesome to say the least. But they weren't half bad." As Touma remembered Shiage, Teitoku, Gunha, Motoharu, Kamisato, and even you, Accelerator. Thanks for everything, everyone. Oh, this is it. I guess I made peace with this. I don't care about the way I'm going out, Touma remarked. As the original Kamijou Touma was fading away, and the new one was going to be born soon, but without his memories. Yeah, I guess it is. My memories are going to be gone completely soon. I'm surprised you're not going to ask me who I am, his lookalike asked. Whatever, I'll leave that for the new me. I already know who you are, but I can already take a guess on who you are. Besides, there isn't going to be a point since I'll forget it in the first place. Touma woke up in a hospital bed. As Index took and read the letter as in canon that was placed for him, Index went to see Touma. Index had arrived in Touma's room. Touma had then said, "I'm sorry. You must have mistaken me for somebody else," Touma had said. As the next almost looked like she was about to cry. He then said, "I'm just playing with you, Index. You should have seen the look on your face. Look at you getting all sentimental and shit. Man, it's kind of pathetic if you think about me. Are you a masochist or something?" As Touma laughed at Index. Index had gotten angry. And then she had bit him. Touma had immediately, in response to Index biting him, chopped him. "You really thought I lost my memories?" He of course was lying. Touma Kamijou had truly lost his memories. All he could remember was when he woke up and the conversation with the doctor. As he remembered what the doctor said, complete memory destruction. As whatever the hell hit his head, it tore through his brain cells. The doctor, he's missing a whole 15 years worth of memories. Yeah, I know it tore through my brain cells, but I might remember more than you think. Where are these memories you speak of? The doctor had said. My soul, obviously, Touma had remarked. They're in my soul, as he grinned at the doctor. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this part of A Certain Misfortunate Soul, part 5. And this is Anime Mafia, signing out now. Goodbye.